Anthony Topper and I are the co-founders of Songalong, and interestingly, Anthony and I went to the same college 38 years apart. Um, I graduated from Worcester Polytechnic Institute in 1982, and he graduated in 2020. And we met at an alumni event. It was a Zoom alumni event. Anthony had produced a beautiful virtual choir, and in which I participated. And when I saw what he had produced, I said, Anthony, can we automate this? And so we bounced our ideas back and forth. And Anthony is a software engineer, and we both graduated from the same college, same Glee club, and he created this software package for us, and it automates the creation of virtual choirs, and it can even just automate the creation of a virtual duet or a quartet. And so we've got some fun examples that we might have time to show. Let's see what's next. And so, welcome. Let's see, this is what we'll talk about. We've already sort of welcomed everyone. We'll tell you who we serve. We'll talk about getting ready to share a virtual choral production with your singers or performers. We'll talk about introducing a project to your group, warm-ups and stretching and rehearsing by Zoom. We'll talk about good recording practices, making the assignment, telling them when it's time to sing or play. And then we'll talk about completing the work, downloading, rendering, editing, and sharing. So that's the overview there. What we do is we enable conductors to lay down or upload the bass track, the basic support track. We allow them to disseminate it automatically. Everybody gets a link. They just click on their link. They put their headphones in and sing, and then when they're done, they click submit, and the director has all the contributions in one place, clicks render, and you get a complete virtual choir. So we automate that whole thing, and there's a number of innovations in there, but there's a number of innovations in there. We'll tell you about them. So next. We are driven by making sure that even in a pandemic, people from every background and every place, they have a chance to get together and feel the joy and benefits of collaborating. When people collaborate, singing or playing music, they feel good about themselves, they feel good about each other, and it leads to a more just and peaceful world. And I think that probably is a lot of what motivates a lot of choirs, and it motivates us. Next. So we work with lots and lots of music teachers and church choirs, community and professional ensembles, bands, orchestras, and we have little kids all the way up to senior citizens. So we have managed to get everyone to sing in this platform. We have over 100 directors, over 1,000 projects made up of over 13,000 individual performances.
And here's an example. This is Skinnamarink. And let me know if you can't hear it. You should be able to hear it. Skip the intro. This is a piece sung by a bunch of elementary school kids down in Texas. So that's one of our favorites because it's super cute, and the kids had a great time doing it. They all said they loved it, and they loved seeing it at the end of the day. So
yeah. My favorites were the kid in Texas wearing the Green Bay Packers jersey, and the other kid who was taking the notes up an octave. I love that kid. So
They were getting creative.
It was a blast.
Good musicians. So,
Next.
yep, that's one of our favorites. And here is another one of our favorites. This is a piece where we did a little bit of video editing. Oops. We did a little bit of editing and extra work to make this a more formal production. And this is with our alma mater, Worcester Polytechnic. So we can also do that. So that's an example, a couple examples of what we can do with the Songalong platform.
Thank you, Anthony. So now, how does it work? Let's jump in here.
Totally, yeah. So I can show you a quick little demo that I set up. So what we have are two different kinds of users. You can go in as a director, and in that case, you're creating a project. And that project is a single song that then your performers can contribute to, and then you can produce a final piece from that project. So we can go in here as a director, and I can see a list of all the projects I've created through this software interface. And right now I can create a new project to show you how we set up a new song for my ensemble to perform. You have a couple options. You can choose to provide an accompaniment and then conduct, provide visuals, or I can provide visuals first and then add accompaniment after. And there's a lot of options, but right now I'll just keep it really simple and I'll just have an accompaniment track. And I'll get into what that is in a second. I'm going to call this project This Land Is Your Land. I'm sure you guys all know that song. It's a pretty famous song. And what I can do here is I can upload an accompaniment track that's going to be a basic recording of me conducting and playing the piano for this song. And I can also upload sheet music for this song as well. And what this will allow my performers to do is it'll allow them to follow along to the sheet music and to the conducting track. And I can show you what that's going to look like in a second. And there's a lot of other fancy options. I can record individual tracks and parts. If I want to record a separate soprano track or alto track, I can go in and help those parts out. But for now, I'm just going to keep it super simple. And I'll show you actually what this track looks like real quick. What it is a basic video of me conducting and playing piano, which I don't know if you guys can hear it. So it's just a basic video of me conducting, playing piano. I'm not a phenomenal conductor, so forgive me for that. But that's basically all I need. I don't need to do anything else to get started with the Songalong process. So I can preview it to make sure that it sounds good, which we just did, and now I can save it. And it's going to send all this into the cloud. So it's going to live in the cloud. No matter where you are in the world, you can now access this project. So I'm going to use this link right here. And what I then do is I send this link out to my performers. And then each of my performers can go in by themselves on their own computer and record. And I'll show you what that looks like, because that's a really cool part of the process too. Because it's nice because I only need one device to do everything. A lot of people who've been making virtual choirs so far, you've needed to have your computer open in order to see the sheet music, and then you have to hold up your phone in order to get your video. And some people get crazy and they have a microphone and you have to do all this crazy stuff and juggle all these devices. With Songalong, all you need is one computer. And with this, I'll just say, we'll put in another part here. It's going to tell me a couple of tips and tricks to get the best quality. And we'll get into this a little bit more in a minute. But overall, it's best if I sing legato, because if I'm in a virtual ensemble, there might be a lot of people singing, and it's best to avoid consonants and harsh notes because those can get out of synchronization kind of easily. And it's also good to wear headphones so that I avoid feedback, avoid hearing that piano track that I just recorded. And then also it's important to smile because we're all going to be having a good time. So I'll just go in here and show you what this looks like. So now here in the top right, I have the conducting track, which I just uploaded before, and I have the sheet music, which I also just uploaded before. So I see everything on one device, on one screen, and in the bottom right, there I am, and I'm ready to go. So at this stage, I can do two things. First thing, I can start by practicing. And I can practice as many times as I want. It doesn't matter if I mess up or it goes wrong or my computer crashes. It doesn't matter. Everything's all good. I can just keep practicing over and over again without any stress.
You're going to hear your starting notes, and I'm going to get right into it.
So here we go. You'll hear me singing pretty badly. This land is your land. This land is my land. And I can keep practicing. And let's say I practice the whole piece. Now I'm ready to record. So now I hit the record button, and it's going to give me a little 3, 2, 1 countdown.
I just want to interrupt. Oh, go ahead.
Ready? You're going to hear your starting notes, and I'm going to get right into it.
It's okay. You can talk over this mic. This isn't a real production.
Anthony's not wearing his headphones. He should be wearing his headphones.
I should. That's a good point. That's a great point. I should be doing that. I also should be singing right now. But,
That's why you. What happens if you screw it up while you're trying to sing?
Good point. What happens if I don't want to submit that? So let me just show you what I just recorded.
Go ahead.
It's okay. You can talk over this mic. This isn't a real production.
Anthony's not wearing his headphones. He should be wearing his headphones.
I should. That's a good point. That's a great point. I should be doing.
So now
I
don't want to
necessarily submit this to my director because I'm being chewed out by Mike. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit this redo button, and now I can go back and I can try it again. Blank slate, no problem. There's no stress. So after I look at that, I can review it. And if I hear a mistake and I'm like, oh, dude, that was supposed to be an F and I sang an F sharp, darn it. I'm going to go back and I'm going to do it again. And this time I'm going to sing it properly, and hopefully Mike doesn't get angry.
Ready? You're going to hear your starting notes, and I'm going to get right into it. 3, and 1, 2.
This land is your land. This land is my land. From California to the New York Island. There we go. You guys don't have to hear me sing much more. I'm not a professional vocalist, so please excuse being out of tune. But that's it. That's all I have to do. I can hit the submit button now. And now as a performer, I have contributed to the production, and that's all I need to do now. So you as a director can now send that out to all your performers, and they'll have that exact experience. They can go in there, see the sheet music, see the conductor, and record to their heart's content. And we have a question from CC Anderson.
Yes, I have a question. So for this platform, they have to have access to Songalong to see that link, or do they just put the link up and then it just takes them right to it?
All they have to do is put the link in, and they can access it from anywhere.
That's different because I was trying another one during this whole COVID, and it just didn't work. It just didn't work out.
Which one were you trying?
I can't even remember the name of it. I just kind of saw it just surfing the web, and it didn't work. They have to literally sign into this platform and then try to get access. So.
Oh yeah.
So,
no, we don't. So I can show you. Yeah, what's going to happen is when they come to our platform, it's pretty simple. There's a sign in as a guest function, which if I can come up with, give me 1 second. I'll show you what it looks like really quickly. When they sign in here, let me sign out real quick. Sorry, I'm all over the place here. But yeah, no, you can access it from anywhere, any device. We don't yet support phones like iPhones and Androids, not yet. But if they have a computer or a Chromebook, or anything like that, then they can access it. But what I was just about to show you is this right here. They have the option to log in, but also they can go down here and agree to the terms and conditions and then click continue as guest. And then anyone can go in and no sign up is necessary.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
But
And
your
they can
students
also
can still put their names in.
Yeah, exactly. So just like Mike is saying, we used to be getting a lot of these anonymous contributions that were getting kind of hard to organize. So they can put in their name right here, and it's easier for you then as a director to organize all that. Yeah, so there we go. So now me as a director, I can go back in to my director interface here, and I can look at my project and see all of my performers and their submissions. So this is my conducting track right here that I had originally uploaded and recorded. And now this is the one that I just recorded afterwards as a performer. And I can see all of these as they come in. It'll keep listing all the production or all the performances that come in. And I have a lot of options now. I can render the video, which that's going to do is it's going to stitch those together into a little grid. So I have a final performance, and it's going to generate that real quick. And there we go. So now I have my video with my conducting track, and there I am. So I can hear the conducting track and the video, and I can listen to that. I can download it by going over here, and I can download this final video, and I can send it to all the parents, all the audience members, whoever I want to. And there's a lot of other features. I don't want to get into too much of it, but you have a lot of flexibility. Let's say I don't want to have the accompaniment track in the video. I can uncheck that by unselecting this box. And let's say there's one performer who maybe was a bit out of tune, but we still want to see them. We don't want them to feel left out. I can also uncheck their audio. So they'll still show up in that visual grid, but they won't necessarily contribute to the sound, and we can still have sound without that out of tune individual. And we just won't tell them about that. Well, and I can also go in here, and for organizational purposes, I can rename these tracks. So my username is A20 because it's my 20th account because I've been testing all this, but just for demonstration purposes, I can rename it whatever I want. So I can go through and organize all that. There are some more features. I don't want to dig into too much of it. I'll just pause right now for questions if anyone has any other questions.
The names that people put in, though, that will not show up on the final video, right?
It'll show up here on this list for me to organize, but it's not going to show up in the video. No.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Anthony, would you just play the rendering that you just made so that people can see that it's actually a rendering? I mean, it's not well done, but it's a rendering.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah. You'll hear my terrible singing. This land is your land, this land is my land, from California to New York Island.
Very good. If you were my 4-year-old, I'd be thrilled with you.
Oh, thanks, Mike. Support.
Good.
Right.
So you've seen the whole process.
So
there's advanced features, but that's the basic process.
Yep. Yes. A couple more things, but that's the basics. So if there aren't any more questions on the process, we can go back to the slides.
Show you a little more. Yeah.
More.
And then we have had a request for some quartets, which we can show you.
Yes, absolutely. We have plenty of those. All right. So we did how does it work? Next.
So if you are wondering how do you get a choir of children or a choir of elders to do this, basically you set up a Zoom meeting or a Teams meeting like you may be used to doing already, and you talked with them about the production and the process ahead of time, just like you were telling them about the concert they're preparing for. So, you're going to produce this wonderful recording that you're going to be able to see yourselves and that you're going to be able to share with your friends and family. So you talk about it with them over Zoom, and you can even teach parts over Zoom, which we'll get into in a second. You can teach them the best recording practices. You can schedule support time, and you can give them a deadline. And so this is roughly the project schedule for how you create a virtual choir. A schedule that begins with the first meeting over Zoom and ends with a deadline for them submitting their contribution. And of course, emphasize how wonderful the results are going to be because of their joyous contributions. So warming up. Has anybody here ever participated in an online warm-up? Let's do it just for fun. What we do, sometimes we warm up by going, the director will say, hello, Todd, hello, Eric, hello, Betsy. But sometimes the directors will say, okay, I'll give your name and then you say hello to everybody. Tell everybody what's been going on in your day. You have 10 seconds. Taylor. And that's another fun way to warm people up. And I belong to a choir that has 130 members. So we do name shouts. He opens the whole screen and all 130 of us are on the screen at one time. And he goes, say hello to your friends, go. And then it's pure mayhem for about a minute where we just shout at each other and try to hear each other's names. You know, hello, Seth, hello, Persephone, hello, hello, hello. And it just goes on and on. It's tremendous fun. And then once that mayhem is over, and our choir director, his name is George Philip Schultz, GPS. When our choir director, he says, you know, you like to say hello to each other. Choir is social and being together is part of it. And that's why I want you to do this. So have fun. And then we get down to business. And if you want to stand up with me, I'm wearing shorts. You'll find out now. If you want to stand up with me, tilt your screen back and then, do the same things that you normally do. Stretch the arms out wide. Take a deep breath, bring them in, give yourself a big hug. And I've even participated in children's choirs and they actually do it. Take a big breath and let it back out. Bring it back in, give it a big hug. Roll your head around gently. Shrug your shoulders forward and back, just like you were in a rehearsal hall together. And then you can do all that with the mics on. And then shut the mics off and get to your piano. And do the same things you would normally do. Me, me, ma, mo, moo is what we did for oh my God, I sang me, me, ma, mo, moo 5,000 times in college. I love to sing. We did that. And then what are some of your favorites for warming up a choir? I think Cece and Taylor might have some ideas just to pick on two people. What's your favorite way to warm up a choir, Taylor?
I actually haven't worked with any choirs in my experience, so I cannot answer that question.
Oh, okay. Cece, you do violins. How do you warm people up? Cece might not be at her computer. Oh well. Hey Todd, so how do you warm people up when you're working with your with a barbershop chorus?
Have you ever heard of? I have to do like each part, but la lo li le lu, and then the tenors go la lo li le lu, and the altos go la lo li le lu, and then the sopranos go la lo li le lu, and then when you put it all together, it makes this beautiful chord.
Wow. It sounds like the warm-ups would be so satisfying. I'd be ready to go home after that.
Yeah.
Well, thanks. All right. So, warm up people just like you would normally. And then what's next?
Tara has a couple of suggestions from the chat.
Oh, okay.
It says, this one sounds like a tongue twister. Mommy makes me mush my M&Ms. Oh my. Yeah.
Who's this? Was that Stephanie?
That was Tara. Tara's iPhone.
Oh, fun. How nice. Mommy makes my mush my M&Ms oh my, or yet red leather, yellow leather. That one I really don't prefer, but it certainly has its place. All right, so we warm people up on Zoom meetings just like we do in real life. Next. And then rehearsing. So, you would rehearse people in a Zoom meeting the same way you normally would. Play the whole piece through, ask them to listen, mics off. Play the whole piece through, ask them to sing along, mics off, take questions, and then offer them a YouTube video of the piece that matches your tastes. And then ask them to listen to and sing along with a pre-recorded version of the piece that you want them to learn. And there's a company called Choral Tracks that offers pre-recorded tracks. They offer the full track, plus they offer part dominant tracks. So they will offer each voice part in a separate recording. And so you can offer those to your sections. And then a lot of choirs, especially large ones, split their groups up into smaller choirs, and you can go through the lower parts on one day and go through the upper parts on another day. And we just got to notice that what we're going to do is we're going to have lower parts the first hour of the evening and upper parts the second half of the evening. So anyway, that's what we're doing. So you schedule your rehearsals, and then next, you want to coach your performers on how to do a good job using a quiet room, hopefully some soft surfaces, light their face, no lighting over their head, and with a nice clean background. I love this graphic that Anthony has in the center of this piece, because we have seen so many bookcases. So the bookcases, the overhead ceiling fans look terrible in production. So you really want to clear your environment out and be just a human being standing there in black clothes or white clothes or whatever was recommended.
Yeah, and what the performers like to do is they like to go through the whole grid of people when the final video comes out, and they like to find themselves. And it's easier to find yourself when there's not a bunch of stuff in the background. Just you,
Yes.
nice, clean, simple. We want to see you, not a bookcase or a fan.
Yeah, especially not a fan. And you must use headphones to make your recording. Now, people use Songalong for a wide variety of reasons. And I've spoken to some teachers and I've said, I hear a lot of feedback in your recording. And I know that some of your performers were not wearing earbuds, and you could really clean up the quality by asking them to use earbuds. And I have had school teachers say, Mr. LaFleur, I am so relieved that I got them to sing. I'm fine, but thank you. And I've had other people who tell their performers, you must make 2 recordings, one recording with earbuds, and we're going to use that one for your audio, and one recording without earbuds, and we're going to use that one for your video. So people really have different objectives for what they're doing. So, experiment with, you want to do your first piece, just experiment, use one bass track, do it in unison, ask people to use their earbuds. And then as you learn more and more about your choir, more about the process, more about the platform, then you can customize what you're doing to match your work. Next. And like you saw, practice as many times as you want within the platform. The platform will work the best if you close weird applications. And don't forget to smile. I always tell people before they sing, before they record, they should stand up straight and tall and go, ho, ho, ho. And it just really pops off of your face when you do that. And of course, sopranos do whatever they do, but everybody should just stand up, shoulders back, big smile, ho, 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 and then push go and start singing or playing your violin. All right, next. And then once you're done, you own the content. So the way that our system is structured is that the person who creates the project is the one who owns the content. So all the content that you upload, all the content that you create, all the content that your performers create, and all the derivative works that are created from all those recordings are yours. We don't own them. We may show brief clips of different performances in private meetings from time to time, and we definitely look at them to test our system to see how it's working, but we do not share them. and it's your content. So you can prepare your work, use it just the way it comes out if you like. If you'd like some advanced editing functions, we provide some advanced editing functions. You can download individual tracks and bring them to your editor for advanced editing. And in a minute, we'll show you Songalong 2.0, which is coming out next, where we provide some functions that you can use on your own. So it's your content. You have discretion over what's shared and with whom. We don't share. We want you to have a lot of fun. And now there is really something interesting that we learned. You know, you step into a business like this, you learn amazing things. If you look out there on YouTube, you'll find a whole bunch of people that did their own version of This Land Is Your Land, or their own version of I'd Like to Teach the World to Sing. Anthony, how is it that copyrighted works end up shared on YouTube like that?
Yeah, so YouTube is pretty cool. What they do is they let you upload certain pieces that are copyrighted, and they'll analyze it with their content ID system, and they'll figure out that, oh, this song is owned by this publishing company, whoever that is. But they have a arrangement ahead of time with the publishing company so that YouTube's the way YouTube monetizes and makes money is through advertisements, and they'll put advertisements on your video, and usually you get to keep the money from the advertisements on your video. But what YouTube does is it says, if your video has a copyrighted song in it, we're just going to take all of that money that you would have made and give it as royalties to the actual copyright owner. So I can still put a copyrighted piece on YouTube, and the copyright owner will still get paid for each play, for each stream of the song, and it kind of works out as a win-win situation. And normally what you do is if you go on YouTube and you see the song that you want to produce already uploaded on YouTube, it probably is already under that arrangement. Otherwise, it wouldn't be allowed up and it would be automatically removed. So yeah, there are plenty of pieces like that that we've already seen some of our customers upload, and it works out really well. And yeah, it's no problem. So it's something worth looking into, just to check, scrounge, search YouTube, browse around a bit, just to make sure that that piece is somewhere. That's usually the best bet. But yeah, it works. It works. And I think Facebook also does a similar thing with their content ID. They have a set of pieces that are licensed. So yes, it's really good.
So this legal territory is not incredibly well fleshed out. We have spoken with a number of lawyers about how this all works. And basically, what it boils down to is that they make allowances, and they do it because it's to their benefit to make some allowances. And they realize they can't sue a school teacher for $5 million for copyright infringement, so they don't bother. And so it's fantastic the way it works out. So Anthony, do we have more slides, or do we want to take questions, or do we want to show sample videos?
Let's see if anyone does have any more questions, then we can move on, but we'll take a...
I have a question. In the original version, you get 50 different people sending in information. Is there a way to equalize that? If I got too much bass, I got too much tenor, I got whatever.
Yeah, so that's a great question. So there's a couple options. First thing, I can download all the tracks, and there are lots of other softwares that allow you, and a lot of them are free, like Audacity and tools like that allow you to go in and change the levels if there's too much bass, too much tenor, whatever. And in Songalong 2.0, which I'll show you in a minute, it's our new version coming out in a few weeks, hopefully. You'll see that there is a way to go in and start adjusting those in the software, so you don't have to download anything. But that's a good question. A lot of people have been asking for that, so we're definitely working on that. Taylor.
So my question is, if you have plans to expand more to cater to instruments in the future. For example, I know that you have the parts written out as soprano, tenor, bass, all that. Would you be able to allow an edit option in the future that's ukulele part 1, ukulele part 2, or even add in more I guess kind of like Todd's question, equalization features.
Absolutely. So let me show you real quick. I can actually do that right now. I can go in here and let's say I don't want to have alto, bass, soprano, tenor. I can actually go in here and delete these. And I can now add ukulele, if that's how you spell it. And now I can just have a ukulele part. So I can go in, it can be anything. We have had a few orchestras. A couple of them were middle schoolers, and actually there was the Vermont Symphony Orchestra. They also did a production with us. So it works the same way. You can do that. It's just by default, it's for choir setup, like soprano, alto, tenor, but you can do whatever you want.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
And if it gets jinky or tricky, Taylor, you can call us and we'll walk you through it. Yeah.
When it says like here, it says show sheet music, how do you get the sheet music on there?
Yeah, so there's a couple ways I can do that. So back when I was creating the project, I was just able to upload the sheet music. I can also go in and change it to different sheet music by clicking the change button, and then I can upload a different file. I can upload an image or a PDF file, whatever I want, and it'll show that on the side. I don't know if you remember from the project create screen. I'll go back to that real quick. But as I'm creating the project, I can give it a name, and then I can go here. The second option right away is to upload sheet music. I just click the button and I can stick my PDF file or image file in there, and it will be in there and available. Does that make sense? Awesome. Any other questions? All right. What do we have next?
Did you want to show them your the update first, or do you want to see Jeannie's rendition first? Show them that, yeah.
Oh, you want to look at the, okay, yeah, we can look. So just to answer some of the other questions that we had here, let me go real quick. So this is our new interface. This is Songalong 2.0, hasn't been released quite yet, but this is what we're working on right now. And we have a lot of fancy features that allow for more flexibility and for more editing so that you as a director can have more creative freedom. So I can go in here now and I can actually edit the grid. I can move these people, these kids around. I can make one of them bigger. If I want to feature one kid at a time, I can make them bigger. Then I can undo that if I want. It has like full flexible editing capability. I can do crazy stuff like change how much space there is between each cell, little kind of details like that. I can change the background color if I'm a professional choir and I want some branding in there. That can help with that. And there's a bunch of stuff I can do. I can make the grid really tall or really wide. If I want to just be creative and go crazy with that, I can make the grid much wider than it is tall, and now you'll see it'll be much wider than it is tall. So there are a bunch of things I can do. And then per Todd and Taylor's questions, it is possible to adjust now the sound with this mixing panel. So I can go in here and just drag these up and down. And it'll show me in real time what the new audio is going to sound like. And I can go in here and mute these. And right now it's just pretty simple, but it gives you that flexibility. And then finally, I can go in here and I can also adjust the timing. So let's say someone is a bit behind the beat. I can bring them back into synchronization by shifting them around left or right, which will shift them forward or backward in time. So those are some new features that are coming soon. It's complicated. There's a lot of software there, so we're still working on it, but that's hopefully coming soon. Check your inboxes and stay tuned for that. So we're really excited. So
nice.
Yeah, it's a good time.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Do you want to show Jeannie, please?
Yeah. So yeah, we've some of the larger choirs have started reaching out to us because of this gridding capability. We can put a hole in the grid so that you can show a mountain through it or a lake or a river. It's really cool. All right. So I'm going to share my screen.
Absolutely.
Continue. This one. So our friend Todd asked if he could do a barbershop quartet. So this is our friend Jeannie Lee, and this is her quartet. Can you hear?
Yes.
This song familiar, sinking. I will lay my troubles down by the water, where the river will never run dry. Hallelujah. I'm gonna let myself be lifted. I'm gonna let myself be lifted. I'm gonna let myself be lifted by and by. I will lay my troubles down by the water, where the river will never run dry.
I am lucky enough to sing in a choir with that woman. She's just wonderful. What do you think of that, Todd? You're muted.
That's pretty much what I'm looking for. Something like that.
Nice. Yeah, and that was done before we had. She did that straight. There was no editing. There was no post-production processing at all. This is just boom. She just sat in her dining room table and did it.
So the one where she's just snapping her fingers, is that what she did first just to keep the timing?
I could look in there and see if that's her conductor or accompaniment track, but my guess is that it is. Yep. So, you know, you can use an instrumental track, and using the new version, you are going to be able to put in a YouTube link and sing along with YouTube or anything. So right now, you know, Songalong was created to be conductor driven. And as the pandemic threatens to end, is it threatening to end? As the pandemic threatens to end, we said, you know, what are we going to do after this? You know, there'll still be conductors, but a lot of people will want to. A lot of people are going to go back to live singing, and then we thought about TikTok and Instagram and all these other social media platforms, and we said, you know, how about if we come up with a user interface that is not conductor driven, but that is performer driven, like what Jeannie did. So she used the platform because she knows how to work it, and she created a performer driven piece. But but the next version, you're gonna be able to like click a YouTube link and sing along with a YouTube link, invite your friends to sing, and then you can share immediately. So we're gonna have, you know, the two ways. Songalong Studio is the conductor driven platform, and Songalong is the performer driven platform. Same platform, just two different interfaces to make it easy for each one. What do you guys think?
It's good. We also got a question in the chat here that says, is there the ability to input external microphones? And the answer is yes, you can. I can actually show you that real quick if you want to see. Let me share real quick. So when I'm performing here, I can click on the little settings gear down on the bottom left. And then as long as my web browser has permission to record, which it will ask you when you first start, it'll say, hey, give us permission. Then it'll be able to access all the microphones. I only have my built-in microphone, but if you plug in an external one, it should be listed right here. So yes, that should be good to go.
One of the biggest problems after cluttered backgrounds and overhead fans is what we call overdriven microphones. So for those folks who are not here for the technology, but who are here for the art, would you just quickly talk about overdriving microphones?
Absolutely. So yeah, there's a problem when your volume gets too loud. There's like the wave of the audio, and then the wave of the audio just gets too big and it starts making this ugly clipping sound. And if any of y'all have been to like a bingo night where they have that really cheap PA set up and it's like totally bad and the person's talking way too loud and you can't hear anything they're saying, that's kind of what clipping is. And it's distorted, it's ugly. We don't want to hear that. And the way we get rid of that, it's pretty simple, is we just turn down the volume of your microphone. So I'm here on an Apple computer, and Microsoft computers and Chromebooks, they all have this setting built in, depending on what kind of computer it is. But here I can go to my sound settings in the system, And right here, you see my microphone is going up and down as I'm talking. And I have this little input level right here. And as I raise the input level, it gets absurdly loud. I don't know if you guys can tell the difference.
Yes.
But when I bring it back down, now you can hear me again. So what I'm trying to do is get it so that this level right here, you see how these little beads are kind of showing what the level is. I never want that to actually hit the top, because when it hits the top, that's when it makes the bad sound. So I just want to lower the level to like a decent level where I have some room so it's not constantly hitting the top. And you notice how the knob is kind of automatically adjusting because the computer is going to do some work for you behind the scenes. But some cases it doesn't do that work for you behind the scenes, and you got to go in there and bring it down a bit. So yeah, does that make sense? Also, we had a question about external microphones, and there are some external microphones that actually have a little knob on them to adjust the gain. I think Mike has one of those. Yeah. So there's a little knob right there, and you can just turn that down a bit if it's getting too loud. So again, when you're reviewing a recording, or when your performers are reviewing their recordings, you can tell them, hey, just make sure it's not clipping. So yeah, great point, Mike. Glad you brought that up. So
There's nothing more disappointing than getting a beautiful singer and having the raspy sound on top. So
yeah, it can happen.
try to train that fault out of people in advance.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Do you guys have any more questions or ideas? If you want to shoot us an email or drop your email in the chat, we'll stay in touch with you. Or if you register as a user, then we'll have your email.
Yeah, and if anyone has any questions, you can always reach us at hello@songalong.live. If you have any questions about this session or about anything going forward, anything regarding music or virtual choirs, we can help out with. So don't hesitate to reach out. And, Mike, do you have anything else?
Before we go, Mari, welcome. Bo, welcome. Stephanie, welcome. Where are you all from, if you don't mind?
Scotland.
Scotland, how fun. Thank you, Mari.
Thank you.
One of my friends just moved to Scotland, and we have a Tennessee. Very nice. Well, any Tennessee and Scotland are equally exotic to me. I live in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Mike Schreiman is a friend of ours. He lives in New York City. And Mike, we have people here from Idaho and Georgia, and I forget where else. So if there's no other questions, we'd love to have you sign up. The free version is very useful. Experiment and have fun, and let us know by email if you'd like our support, because we are here to create a little joy around this place. So thanks for coming.
Is there a cost to this?
Yeah, so basically for individual use, it's pretty much free. We've been updating our pricing, and for small works where it's just you and a small choir, you can render that grid completely for free. You can use the software completely for free. Where we start to charge is for things like individual downloads. And we have some new pricing tiers coming out. Mike can elaborate on that. Mike and I constructed some new pricing, but basically the downloading and doing more advanced editing, that's where the costs come in. But all basic use is completely free.
Yeah. So downloading individual tracks is, I think, going to be $3 a track. So if you just use it straight, just record, pick who you want included, render, and download, free. If you want to download individual tracks, it's $3 a track. And then if you want to use the advanced features when they're available, it'll be like $20 a month to add in the volume adjustment and nudging feature, and then it'll be, I think, $200 a month to add in the rearranging feature. and then there'll be a download charge. But the basic is completely free. And at this, yeah, it's just completely free for the basic one. So have fun, knock yourself out, and we welcome you on. And if you want to, use more advanced features when they're ready, we want you to use them. Our goal is to bring some joy. And I talked to you at the beginning. I mentioned that we have started to connect up with some of the huge choirs because that video editing capability that we have is very compelling to the huge choirs. And we're going to ask them to pay us. You guys just enjoy and spread the word. Unless one of you makes 2,000 person choirs, in which case, please send a check.
We also have a couple questions in the chat.
Oh,
Stephanie says,
first
Mike, what is the name of your choir?
So I sing in a choir called Vocal Essence, and it's located here in Minneapolis. Vocal Essence is a large organization. It has 3 elder choirs. It has a professional choir, a youth choir, and a huge choir. And I'm in the huge choir, 130 people. Vocal Essence Chorus, it's called. And Cece asks, how do you get to this program? And it is at https://songalong.live. It's a website. It's totally web-based. Here, I'll type it in here just in case.
I just put it in the chat.
Cool, thank you.
Yeah.
Form and just email us if you want anything at all. We're happy to support you. Okay, shall we sign off?
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Bye.